I'm sure you've already seen it, but Iman Gadzhi had an awesome 3-part series really exposing what he liked to call the puppet masters.
Every time I thought I had come to an answer to my questions, a brand new problem would arise, leading to a never-ending rabbit hole that would eventually reveal who runs the world. It reveals the faces of those that hide in the shadows and use their puppets to control everything around us, and I call them the puppet masters.
Now, a lot of what he uncovers is very real, and he definitely goes into details of these puppet masters and how they work. It's really fun to watch how he weaves in the different ideas, especially the idea that there's even more evil to come.
I mean, to be honest, there's so much to the story that I can't even get into now that I might even do a separate series just to the financial fraud that has bankrupted millions of people since 1913.
But what do these puppet masters want in the first place? Turns out, of course, it's all towards centralized power. Now, obviously, the opposite of centralized control is decentralized control. And in fact, when you look historically, that's actually what's been the prevalent mode.
Anthropologist Robert Carnero estimates that for 99.8% of human history, small and decentralized political units have been the norm. Even in the last 6,000 years, large centralized systems, be they kingdoms or empires, have been an anomaly. For when it comes to the functioning of government, size is a critical factor. And the bigger the government, the more it is plagued by the corruption and vices endemic to all large bureaucracies.
For me personally, I see the move towards decentralization as something I can actually get behind, as something I can actually make a difference with. But at the same time, I also realize there's a lot of deprogramming to actually get through. And it's not just programming from the past, but programming right now in terms of predictive programming.
Predictive programming is when we are already infused in the collective consciousness with visuals and images of an event before it's about to play out. And then we're seeing it in one arena in one way, and then in similar ways across different avenues of media. So they might not always be able to make a clear connection because they'll be similar but not identical events. It's all to get the essence of this imagery into our collective consciousness.
Now, we've been programmed at such an early age through education and movies and media, and it's just at such a subconscious level that it goes deeper than we might realize. I mean, stats show that we're basically running unconsciously on a day-to-day basis anyway. So we really have to get to the heart of that unconsciousness before we can actually awaken to any sort of higher consciousness. We've been programmed early on at such an unconscious level, and movies are constantly hinting at what might be coming next.
I think the honorable thing for our species to do is deny our programming. Stop reproducing. Walk hand in hand into extinction. One last midnight, brothers and sisters opting out of a raw deal.
Then there's also this sense of isolation as we are all in our own individual world.
People out here, they don't even know the outside world exists. Might as well be living on the fucking moon.
There's all kinds of ghettos in the world.
It's all one ghetto, man. Giant gutter in outer space.
Because of media and the way the world works right now, it's much easier to manipulate and control our worlds. Iman's video series is really good at showing just how the tricks of the past are being duplicated right now. Now, the conclusion that Iman came to was the most surprising part for me. I kind of figured he would be pitching his online academy. And even though he didn't, there seemed to be a hint at a fourth video coming talking about an escape. At the end, though, his solution was towards education. But I find that to be just the opposite. A de-education, a deprogramming is what's needed. And to embrace what one author calls the pathless path.
The pathless path is an alternative to the default path. It is an embrace of uncertainty and discomfort. It's a call to adventure in a world that tells us to conform. For me, it's also a gentle reminder to laugh when things feel out of control and trusting that an uncertain future is not a problem to be solved.
I find this very similar to Jason Bashir's idea of breaking pattern, where we go in one direction that embraces the unknown, intuition, and we start to listen to the small, still voice inside, the spirit speaking through that voice, and the heart, which leads us quietly forward. Now, not only will we find our spirit there, but I feel like we'll be immunized against this ongoing manipulation of twisted logic and ideas. What better way out than to trust spirit and embrace the unknown? For me, not only is it about embracing the unknown, it's also about embracing decentralization through entrepreneurship, through creating small businesses, both online and off. The more we do that, I feel like the more we're going to break control. Because honestly, I don't see either side actually enacting any sort of changes that will do much of anything. And so it's local all the way. It's local, and it's through entrepreneurship that we're going to see some change. And for me anyway, I feel like that's where I can set most of my intentions and feel like I'm making a difference. All the other stuff going on is just a distraction. It's to distract us from our own journey to understanding who we are at a deeper level through our spirit, through our connection with God, and through actualizing that, making that come alive within what we do, so that we're not just moving passively through life, but we're actively engaged. We are actively co-creating our way forward. And part of that is embracing the unknown, because co-creation is embracing that. That's part of the Pathless Path. It's saying, okay, while yes, maybe we've had some of this history and so on, we can actually embrace something completely different. We can embrace the unknown in a big way. And in that sense, we have true potential that we've never seen before. It's the way that we've been able to go forward in the past to break the 4-minute mile, to do these amazing feats that athletes do today, or any of our entrepreneurs today. It's embracing the complete unknown and going, okay, I don't care if there's boundaries. Let's move past them. Let's actually be fully human and fully alive. And the way you do that is through the inward journey. We're being led to the outward so that we don't go inward, so we don't realize our true nature, and so we don't embrace all that we're able to do. It's said that many wealthy have at least 8 income streams. Maybe it's time to decentralize via these different income streams that you and I can create together. Now, you can create it with people around you, you can create it with people online. It really doesn't matter. But really creating those income streams is the move towards less control from centralized authority. And by embracing assets and being a creator instead of basically buying our way towards slavery. Being a creator is co-creating our way forward, and the puppet masters know that, which is why they're basically harnessing our collective energy towards their own means. By letting go of keeping up with the great distraction, otherwise known as Great Reset, and instead going inwards, listening to that still small voice, the spirit inside of it, and allowing that to guide us forward. That puts us more towards the areas we can control in our own lives and improve the lives of ourselves and those around us a lot more than if we're spending all this time and energy keeping up with when World War III is going to start, or when the crash is going to start, or the banks did this, the banks did that, and getting all fearful. And let go of all that. Let go of all that, because each week it's always the same. And although there may be disasters to come, one of the greatest ways to prepare is by being more dynamic, by being able to deal with uncertainty a bit more than we have in the past, by embracing uncertainty and allowing us to move as our mind moves. Our mind is built to figure things out as we go. The more we do that, the less we fear what might come next. See, I believe that all things are possible. And that's why they try to focus our energy and time to thinking only of the few options that they give us. Well, guess what? There are so many more options. And the more that we work at embracing uncertainty and embracing those options, the less likely they have control over us. That's why I think we should let go of the great distraction and embrace the uncertainty of what comes next. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a like. Thanks a lot for watching, and I'll see you next time.